afternoon, evening, wherever in the world you are. If you're watching me on the replay, my name is Lola. I'm a confidence and entrepreneur coach. I help women boost their confidence, turn their ideas into money-making products, and self-publish their books. Today, you're watching another episode of the Periscope Circle of Influence. We scope every Tuesday, every Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. GMT. Today, we're going to be talking about unsupportive spouses and how you can get them to come around. But before I get into the scope for today, I do want to give us some housekeeping information. If you want to find out more about us, you can go to our website. That's www.periscopecircleofinfluence.com. If you'd like to send us an email about any inquiries or booking requests, you can send that to contact@periscopecircleofinfluence.com. Also, if you want to be a part of our Facebook group, you want to be involved in what we're doing, you can absolutely join our group. It's bit.ly/Periscope Circle of Influence. If you've missed any of our scopes, you can absolutely check out our YouTube page. It's Periscope Circle. So you can find all the scopes that we've done previously. If you like what you're seeing today and you want to see the rest of what we've been doing, you can absolutely check out our YouTube. So my other two ladies will not be joining us today, unfortunately. So I am holding fort by myself today, but I do hope that you stick around and you take notes and pay attention to the content. So what we're talking about today is actually something that, a lot of wives and husbands deal with in their business, right? When you're going into entrepreneurship, you have to remember that you're not by yourself. You have a family unit with you. You have children, you have a spouse, you have parents and siblings and things like that, right? And when you decide to go, hi Bukola, thanks for coming in, thanks for inviting your followers. When you're in business, you have to remember that whatever you're doing will affect, your family unit, right? So back to the conversation about what to do if your spouse is not supportive. First, I think that, and I mentioned this on Tuesday as well, first, I think that you should have a conversation with them to see why they are not being supported. So sometimes it's also a perception, right? And I'll get further into that a little bit later in this scope, but sometimes it's a matter of perception. But you want to ask them why they're not being supportive and get some feedback from them, listen to what they have to say, and then create an action plan based on that to get them on board with you, right? Sometimes it may just be that they don't understand entrepreneurship and why you want to go into it. You can have a conversation about why it's important for you to do this. You can explain some of the misconceptions that they have about entrepreneurship. You can explain to them and help them understand, right? So that's something that you can do in having that conversation. Sometimes they're worried about the finances being affected. So they're worried that you're not going to be able to contribute as much as you used to because now you're relying on money from entrepreneurship as opposed to a job. And this comes in especially if you decide to quit your job to go fully into entrepreneurship, then they're worried about finances, which is a justifiable concern for them to have, right? Because the entire family will have to shift to adjust to this financial change, right? Also, they may be worried that you'll have to take more money out of what would have been devoted into the family's expenses to commit to entrepreneurship. Because remember, as an entrepreneur, no matter how small you're starting, you will have to make some investments. And that's money that could have gone into the family. Even if it's just, going into groceries or going into supporting and paying a bill or whatever, that's still money that could have gone into the family's expenses. So what you want to do is have that conversation with them and create a plan, to make you successful so that you don't have to keep affecting the finances, and eventually you will be able to contribute to the finances even much more than you've done before. Sometimes spouses are not supportive because they're worried about time, right? So time that you're spending in entrepreneurship is time that you could spend with your family, your husband, your children, right? They're also worried that maybe your responsibilities and your roles will be neglected, right? Because sometimes as entrepreneurs, we get too focused on the tasks that we're doing to build our business. And sometimes we don't do the little things that we were doing before. So, sometimes for me as a wife and a mom, I look at the basic things. Okay, I take care of Ethan, get him ready and things like that. And even though in my household, it's a shared responsibility, right? There are times where I do things for Ethan. There are times where my husband does things for Ethan, right? But I can understand him being concerned that I may not follow through with my part of the deal, as dedicated as I used to be, right, in following through the roles and the responsibilities that I have. And not even just with children too, even with like household responsibilities, right? With maybe laundry or dishes or doing groceries or whatever, right? Or just regular tidying up routines that you do. As entrepreneurs, our time is, devoted to our businesses, and we don't end up, we sometimes we have a hard time balancing these things out. And I always tell people, work these things into your plans, just like you would work into your plans, meetings or appointments. Work in like time for your kids, time with your husband, time to take care of household responsibilities and things like that, so that it keeps you organized. So that's one of the concerns that they have, and one good way to address it is to make sure that you keep on par with what you're supposed to do, and you don't neglect your responsibilities, because it will create a form of resentment, and that's how spouses become unsupportive, right? Also, another reason why spouses can be unsupportive is because they think that they're looking out for you by telling you hard facts about, businesses, small businesses that have failed. And you know what? Sometimes you just need to look into where it's coming from. Sometimes it's coming from a place of concern, and you want to have that conversation and say, hey, I know what the statistics are, and I know that hi from Turkey. I know there's a possibility that things may not work out the way I wanted to. Things may not kick off, in the time frame that I wanted to, but this is a risk that I'm willing to take, and I want you to, take that risk with me, and just have conversations with them and see how you can alleviate the concerns that they're having. Sometimes they don't even know what they're supporting. So you're telling them, hey, I'm starting a business and I'm a coach, or I'm a this, or I'm a that, right? But you're not telling them exactly what's involved. So I'm a coach. What does a coach do? What kind of coach are you, and things like that, right? Or you want to explain to them what it entails, whatever business that you've gone into, what it entails. And by doing that, also, you're letting them know how they can support you, right? So when they know what it entails, and they know the responsibilities or the tasks that are involved, then the next conversation you want to have with them is, having given them all these details, then let them know how they can be of support to you, because sometimes they don't know how they can be of help to you, how they can be of support. And if you don't ask, then you'll never know, right? So always have that conversation about what it entails, and ask them if they want to help you with certain things, especially when it's things to do with their areas of strength. They'll appreciate you doing that. And ask for their feedback as well, right? So you're not just telling them, hey, I want to start this business and blah, blah, but you're having a conversation. You're saying, hey, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to go about it. What do you think? And get their feedback and implement their feedback, because people don't like to feel like their input is not valuable. So if you're always asking for their feedback but you're not implementing it, then the next time you ask for it, they're not going to be forthcoming, right? Because they feel like you're asking out of formality and not necessarily because you care to do anything about their feedback. And then the last thing that I have for us today is, in entrepreneurship, as you go along, make sure that you're sharing your victories with them and you're sharing your challenges with them. It will keep them engaged. It will keep them interested in what you're doing as an entrepreneur. So thank you so much for joining us. I forgot to mention our featured scoper. The winner for today is Justin Brown Fit. It's interesting because I actually found out about him through Ashley Ann on one of her scopes, and later on I got to know a little more about what he was doing. So if you want to get some good valuable tips about staying healthy and fit, he does meal plans and things like that, and he has a lot of good freebies that can help you with your health journey. So check him out. He's at Justin Brown Fit on Periscope, and we'll also have more information about him on our website. That's www.periscopecircleofinfluence.com. So thank you so much for joining us. We will be back same time next Tuesday, hopefully with the whole gang, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. GMT. And I hope that you found what I shared valuable. And if you missed Tuesday's scope, you can definitely check it out on our Periscope at Bukola Oriola and at Sawyerrs House. But you can also check our YouTube channel. That's Periscope Circle on YouTube. And you can get all the replays, all our perspective, all our views on all the topics that we've discussed. So have a lovely day. Thank you for joining us. Bye.